Yo, what's going on guys? HyperX here, and today I want to talk about Project TL, or Throne and Liberty. We've spoken about this on the channel before, some of you guys may have heard of this already, but it's always fun to look forward to the games that will be coming out in the near future, and in this one I want to focus on this game because this is an exciting upcoming MMO that has the potential to be really good because it has a lot of things going for it. Of course, as is often the case when it's just new trailers and we haven't had a chance to go hands-on, do take this with a pinch of salt until we actually get to try the game. But in this early stages, when they are showing off gameplay and trailers and the gameplay looks kind of cool, then there's no harm in getting a little bit excited, albeit just with tempered expectations. Again, as mentioned, we have spoken about Throne and Liberty on the channel before, back when it was called Project TL, but now it's had a full reveal and we thought it would be a great time to dive into exactly what this game is and what the developers are aiming to do. So if you guys do enjoy this, a like would be super appreciated. Comment down below, let me know. If you guys are watching this, then you're probably a fan of MMOs, so if that's the case, what was the last MMO that you played and loved? Let me know in the comments down below. And of course, don't forget to subscribe, so then as and when more information on this game does drop, we can keep you guys posted. But to begin with, let's start at the top. What exactly is Throne and Liberty? Well, this is an MMORPG developed by NCSoft, the makers of Guild Wars and Lineage. Massive shout out to Guild Wars, I love that game. Guild Wars is still to this day one of my favourite MMOs, but I digress. Back to Throne and Liberty, it was originally meant to be the next generation version of Lineage and to be released as Lineage 3, but during development it morphed into its own new IP as the developers added in new gameplay aspects to meet the demands of the current gaming market. Furthermore, to meet the needs of the current audiences, the developers have tried to make the game more varied and the world less monotonous, which often happens in large-scale MMOs. We've all been there before, where as cool as it is, sometimes you are just trudging through barren, open, pretty sort of, uninhabited landscapes, and it just ends up being a bit of a trek. They also said they're aiming for the game to be released on both consoles and PC, but currently PC is just the confirmed platform. But let's talk about the gameplay and the features. So again, even though the game itself is an MMORPG, NCSoft are making it a heavily story-focused experience, and the new player's view on the world will be impacted by the decisions that they make. One of the aims of the game is to have objectives for players to do outside of the traditional min-max power creep. The development team wants to include unique challenges and collaborative content for players to experience, and this will be especially apparent in the boss monster fights that will require players to work together to be successful. Additionally, a core part of the gameplay NCSoft seems to be focusing on is the ability to change into animals. The initial reasoning behind this is to allow players to traverse the open world more freely and rapidly, which in turn allows them to reduce the amount of fast travel points needed in the game. Players will be able to turn into a variety of different animals, which will allow them to fly, swim or run at a fast pace across the game world. In animal form, you'll also be able to carry other players around the world, and the game world will be highly immersive with weather systems and time of day that impact gameplay. The team actually gave examples of this. They said, for example, the direction and strength of the wind affects the archery shooting range. If you practice lightning type magic when it rains, it affects a wider range of enemies, unlike the way it affects a single enemy on a sunny day. Terrain is also influenced by environmental factors as well. For example, you can infiltrate the castle in diverse routes, in siege warfare including the underground sewer, and it can be filled with too much water and become unavailable if it rains heavily. So definitely those sort of dynamic changes to the world will make for interesting experiences. They also said that it's interesting that the player can also affect the environment as well. They said that they can actually change the environment in their favour by causing a solar eclipse or a rainstorm if the required conditions are met. There definitely are some exciting sort of sounding mechanics that we get to experience. So what else do you need to know? Well, firstly, is it coming to the global market? Often we sort of see these exciting new MMORPGs, but they tend to sort of come over from the east and we're like, are we ever actually going to see these? Well, recently in a blog post by NCSoft, they announced that they are looking for a global publishing partner, so it is very likely that we will get the game in the West, and it's currently looking like Amazon Game Studio is the front runner for the potential publishing partners for the Western release date. As for the release date itself, the game was originally meant to release this year in 2022, but it has been delayed to 2023, much like many other games. The reason behind this is so that they can be more prepared for their global release strategy, and the game will now be released in supposedly the first half of 2023. There is actually an official statement on this. They said, as reported in the media recently, TL, or Throne and Liberty, is discussing the best timing and partner for strategic overseas expansion from a strategic point of view. The reason is that TL is somehow in the domestic game, especially in MMORPGs. It has important implications for success abroad, which we previously had, in terms of open innovation rather than the way it was done, how to collaborate internally and externally available for success. We are thinking strategically about whether we can create synergies. Currently, it is scheduled for the first half of 2023. This of course course, is awesome news. Additionally, something else that will, of course, be very, very exciting for a lot of people is it definitely seems like this game will not be pay to win. During a recent Q&A, one of the executives from NCSoft said it is being designed in a way that avoids pay to win. As a side note, even in the global environment, there is a chance in the partial payment model, in-game items such as battle passes in North America and Europe, the partial payment model is being accepted. In fact, all major game companies have a prolonged gamble period and increased input amounts. In this situation, in order to maximize profit, generating sales through live services like NCSoft will be the differentiator. By adjusting this well, avoiding excessive pay to win, if the game quality is balanced, I think it will achieve great results in the global market. Again, it's very easy to sort of say this stuff before launch, as and when it actually comes out will of course be the true test of time, but so far that is what we have to go on. Finally, to round things out, the beta. At the moment, we don't have a current beta date, but the company has recently run an internal beta, which was supposedly very successful in their words, and they said we should soon be able to test it on our own in another upcoming beta. So we'll have to wait and see. As and when we do get confirmation on that, I will let you guys know. But for the time being, that is pretty much it. That's a little rundown on the Project TL or Throne and Liberty. Let me know if you guys have any questions in the comments down below. If you guys have missed some of our recent videos, you can check out one of these ones, and stay tuned for plenty more.